Dire team ban.
Were not satisfied with the performance, so they had to like find the stand-ins in a week or two, and I don't think anyone expected them to take a game off Team Secret.
Yeah, and you actually brought up right before we went live, and I thought that this is something obviously everybody at home is going to enjoy hearing a whole bunch, just the idea that it wasn't necessarily in a way that guarantees a great performance, right? You're in a situation where there's some dissent between the players, and now they're here, and it's one of those moments where it's either going to cause them to rise above, to prove how good they really can be for Gambit, or they just fall apart. It seems like we might be seeing the former.
Yeah, I mean, there are two players, like Noan and Seneko. They basically said, like, we don't think you guys are good enough for us to play with you. That's a harsh feeling, and usually when that happens, it either means like you spiral out of control and you're just sad, or it means you're like, you know what, guys, we're gonna prove you wrong. And I mean, they beat Secret. They had a sick draft. They're ready to show that like you guys left, but you guys were wrong. You know, we were right, and yeah, there we go.
Yeah, it's one of those things too where that's the type of scenario where I feel like you can get that momentum, and all of the sudden you're up against Nigma. Maybe they're able to get another upset, but we're gonna find out very shortly here because the draft is underway. We got Gambit versus Nigma. Nigma also redemption arc. They're trying to get back into their fighting form that we already know and expect from them, and they're trying to be able to lock up a position in TI. They're able to take one. Do you think we're gonna see them playing in the way that we saw them play in their second game?
You know, after watching Gambit, the old Gambit, I would say, you know, this should be an easy one for Team Nigma. But after seeing what they did to Team Secret in game number 2, an interesting series, you know, because Team Nigma, they looked very clean against Vici Gaming. Vici Gaming up there, one of the best teams. I thought that's going to be the best series so far in the wild card, but maybe I was wrong, you know, because it was a very one-sided, especially. So we have to see what they have in store for this one.
All right, what do we think about this draft so far as we start to see some of these early picks coming out, AUI?
Well, I'm interested because I think AA is a super strong support, and Nyx is a hero that's been like, it's been either perma-banned and picked in some regions or not picked at all. I know in China in particular, it's like super strong, so I'm sure these teams are watching some of that. And usually against AA, you want these like sort of sneaky heroes that get on the back line. Nyx sort of does that. So right now, you know, some interesting ideas going into the draft.
Something that I watch a lot of China. I worked at the Chinese region, so they open up mostly with like Nyx Assassin, either Nyx Assassin plus Slash, or if Nyx Assassin is banned out, 3 plus Lash. Viper, strong laner, no matter what. So Nyx Assassin counters, my point is that he counters a lot of heroes, because there's like uncontrollable damage going on, especially against the certain ones like Ember is pretty much not pickable. Same goes for Lash Track, so something that they might have in hand for them.
Yeah, I think that's a good point too, because AA sort of does the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Like when you see AA, it's really hard to pick your carry. A lot of the heroes you want, like you can't pick these like Lunas, Gyrocopters, Morphlings, anything, basically any range carry, because if they burst you down with the AO, you don't get to play Dota.
We've seen that in the previous series, where you have a Centaur who has a Hood, has a Vanguard, but he's not tanky. Same goes for Spectre. One AA blast, they keep you in the place. I was pleasantly surprised the way Nigma moved around the map. They picked the heroes who don't rely on any of the cooldowns. Great optimization coming out from them, especially like the multiple fluffy hats, just not being able to be bursted down by Tiny in that particular game, so they're understanding what needs to be done is pretty top level, pretty top notch.
Yeah, one of the things though that I think a lot of people were saying, definitely saying in the chat, was that they weren't loving the morph. How do you feel about seeing it again here as we enter the second best of 2?
Oh, you asking me?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you were gonna ask the smart guy, because you know I've been watching AUI. I've been.
Here's my plan. I start with you and then
start. Okay. So yeah, Morphling. Flexible, and they played it on the mid lane. They can play it on the safe lane if the matchup is good. Viper, if that's an off lane Viper, he puts a ton of pressure on him. It's not a is not a melee hero, but still you don't like to play into Viper. Viper Nyx just sounds disgusting. The mana burn, you can't use the shift, maybe an earlier point in it. Maybe it's gonna be a mid lane. I still don't know. Gotta see what's gonna happen next. But to go back, you know, AUI, I watch him prepare. He logs onto computer, watch the replay at 0.25 speed. You know, uses some fancy words to describe how teams are playing. And then you have me. You know, I'm just saying puck goes brrr, and that's it. So I gotta find the real balance.
Well, that was one of your best.
Yeah, that's my
really
best. You know, I should be very embarrassed.
But you're correct though, right? Like puck does go.
But he really does go.
It really does. It really does. I'm thinking back to some of my favorite moments of working with you right now, and a lot of them were things that you didn't even say on the panel. Just those moments of smiles where you make me completely.
Because you get the best out of me, Rich. That's why.
I really do enjoy getting to sit next to you on a panel again, and also this is the first time that AUI and I've gotten.
And what is that smell? What is that perfume that you're wearing right now? Is that Laurenov?
Chanel 5.
Because Laurenov, like the player, it sounds like a perfume, right? You're a perfume expert.
Yeah,
you would wear that, right?
Yeah. Definitely would wear that. And I also would wear the, man, I cannot segue out of that. You actually managed to stump me. I was going to try to move that into something about the draft, but I'm just going to have to throw it on over.
Okay, what is that? My question is, what is that hero before Batrider?
Before Batrider?
Yeah, between Darkseer and Bat.
That's Puck.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's the head.
It's tricky. I swear it's because they just went for the black and white images. It's a little bit trickier to actually see the bands from how far away we're sitting from the television. But as we start to see some more picks coming out from Gambit, how are you feeling overall about this lineup?
For Gambit?
Yeah.
10 seconds remaining.
I mean, I like how they're constructing it. Like they have a mix of like I like the Nyx sneakiness and I like the long range nukes. I think generally this patch it's hard to take slow fights early. You have to burst heroes because TP scrolls are really strong right now. So if you have heroes like Snapfire, Viper, and Nyx, it means that whoever you see on the map, like you can just kill them right away.
Yeah, and also covering the Snapfire pick nicely with the Nyx Assassin, one of the worst heroes for Snapfire to play, just one carapace and you're done. Surprised we don't see too much of a Nyx Assassin. Like it's really popular in Chinese region, the hero does well, a bit slow at the start, doesn't provide too much pressure in the lane unless he's paired up with, let's say, like a Darkseer, something that enables him, but overall feels really good, and the Snapfire, even after all those nerfs, the hero feels good. To go back on their position 4, Tusk, Snowball, Save, anti-tank hero. Some heroes really don't like Timbersaw. You might be tanky, but not tanky enough to play against the tag team. And not picked at all. Like I've been watching, you know, in Europe, I believe it's popular, South America as well. So certain regions just like prioritizing this pick. I'm a big fan. Very surprised, like Southeast Asia, China, they were not picking the hero at all.
They weren't picking Tusk at all?
No, just hero was completely gone.
I think right now it's sort of hard for like Nigma's heroes to fight into Gambits though, right?
Yeah.
And I think like in drafting, like if you create disparities in like certain aspects of the draft, like team fight, it's really hard to catch up on those later. I think you can look back like historically, like you can even think about like the Kiev Major and 2016 or something, like they would pick like Warlock and the M team would instantly pick Phoenix. And like right now, like if I see Snapfire, Nyx, Viper, and I have like these 3 non-team fighting heroes, like I don't know how I'm gonna recover from that.
Great Storm game, like they have not a single stun, he can just jump over the shards, like AA is pretty much the food for him, same goes for Nyx Assassin, so their pick-off potential is off the charts in this game. I want to see some kind of silence, some kind of a stun, something that deals well with the Storm.
This means Viper's offlane though, right?
Yeah.
So they have a Tuskar AA Morphling. I think they might look to try like yeah. It looks really vulnerable. Like I don't think Nyx can really pull waves.
I like Dragonite as a response to Storm Spirit, but after they have Viper, not a big fan, so they're gonna save maybe the mid laner for the last. How do you like if it's a mid? It's the Storm Spirit?
I think Storm should outfarm him slightly, but Morph will be completely fine, and then Morph should have pressure on the tower. I think pressure on the tower, if you have a lineup with like sort of non-T-Fang supports, it means you have to play the map really fast because you can't take the same skirmish as you would in the mid game. So you want heroes that like when they see the enemy hero in lane, they'll kick him out and your creep wave will hit their tower.
They don't have that one hero that just goes in and jumps Snapfire, which I really don't like. Something from far away, maybe like, you know, maybe Mars, but Snapfire can outrange the Mars, and you have a good front line that can keep them busy. Also, it's Mars into Storm Spirit, he can easily just jump out.
I think like they even though they pick Mars, I don't think they're looking to take like these straight teamfight engagements. They're gonna arena spear one guy. Maybe he'll get a Yule so he can beat a catch for that storm, as you mentioned. But they have like this AALT and this Morphling long range nuke. You know, you arena spear one guy, you burst him in, and you try to reset the fight. You have a lot of like the Tusker reset. Your Morphling has wait for him to reset. You can just use arena as like a way to trade out your spells. I think that is correct for like what heroes Gambit has, because Gambit, like, they have this Nyx Assassin, Viper, and Snapfire. Like, they have a lot of nukes. They're really strong in teamfights, but they're actually not that mobile. Storm is, but if he's the one you catch, then you can always reset the fight and get another round of spells.
Yeah, Viper's pretty sluggish. I want to see what his item build is going to be this time around. Maybe.
I haven't seen it offlane much. Do they play it a lot in Europe? No?
No, not really.
Okay.
He's been banned out most of the time in the regions that I've been watching. When there's like Spectre, when there's Bristleback, so Southeast Asia loves Bristle, so was banned out most of the time.
That hero's straight first pick in NA for a lot of teams. He's super scary, but they usually play him mid. That's why I'm sort of curious. Like, in my head, like, you would pick the carry instead of Storm there, right? So you could like sort of hide where the Viper's going. Like right now, I think it's sort of easy for Nigma to decide how to shut down Viper.
Like a PL for Gambit, because they have no real AoE. Morphling does not like to play into mana burn. Supports are just the food for him.
They have the 24 pick, right?
Yeah.
So I think you will. I can see PL working for sure. That sounds pretty good. I think you do want to see that last hero though, especially like for a hero like PL. I was talking to BSJ and he said like PL is like pretty much the last pick or nothing right now. He's like, the hero's not good, but he can still be picked if you have the perfect matchups.
Sure, but I think you can get away with that. Doesn't necessarily need to be last pick, at least from what I've seen. What is that ban, Rich? Let's help us out.
I do want to say really quickly here, 95%. You can see right now that guess the winners. That is a Twitch chat vote. 95%.
Twitch chat, they love Nigma.
They didn't even wait to see what happened in the draft. Already 95% of them on the side of Nigma. But I will say to everybody in chat, if you've only been paying attention to one of the streams, if you've only been watching Dire, if you've only been watching Radiant, you might have not seen what Gambit
Rich,
already
you gotta contribute something to this draft. Like, you need to tell me what hero is banned.
I was in the middle of contributing to the draft. I can't see that far away to see the heroes that are drafted. I know what you're trying to do.
It's much easier when it's color. It's not black and white.
It's just that the picks are easy. It's those how tiny the bands actually are here. I can see that that's a jug at the end here, but what do you want to see to round out the draft, Lacoste?
For Nigma? Yeah.
10 seconds remaining.
I think they need a mid laner. I think it's okay to have Morph against Viper. You mentioned the aggressive tri-lane possibility, something that comes to my mind every single time I see Tusk, one of the best heroes. It's gonna be mid Morph, actually.
Okay, so running that back again after what we saw in game one, and now it's going to come down to Gambit. What are you looking out for here?
I mean, I think they picked Lifesteal, right?
10
and
seconds remaining.
I've had this matchup in my pubs a few times where like Viper goes against Leicester, and that matchup's actually really hard for Leicester, but he can remove the poison stacks, and I think Nigma's one of the best team at rotating their 4 like to mid and safe lane, so we will see like an early trialing come in for Nagasaki.
It's pretty much the same concept as a PL where you have the Fusil Blade carrier, something that they don't have the answer to. They had the last pick, not enough wave clear. They like these heroes don't deal well with the illusions. Lifestealer Radiance build not a thing anymore. I like this Naga. I really like.
No wave shove on Radiant at all. Or
yeah,
Nigma.
like you have AA Tusk, they really struggle. Like Mars can, Lifestealer needs to sit there and actually hit the creeps.
It's actually very good versus Mars on lane. Like he has to constantly throw a spear and just split your illusions, then you can win that lane with Nagasiren.
I like Gambit's draft. I really like what they got.
Okay, so we hear Lacoste right now in favor of Gambit's draft. AUI, how about you?
I mean, the one thing that Gambit's lacking is like, I think it's a bit unclear who goes in first. They have Nyx to sort of frontline for them, so that's good. But I also like Gambit's draft. I think Dream plays a really good Nagasiren actually. And yeah, I'm curious to see what happens in this game.
How do you feel the tide of this game is actually going to play out, though? What are the big moments that you're looking for as we actually do get into the game?
I think most of this game's going to be on GH, because this game's going to be on how Tusker rotates. Like, if he can make Leicester have a really good game, like, he's unkillable this game until Storm Orchid, pretty much. If they can do that and, like, just hold their safe lane control, then, you know, Nigma has a map to play. If that doesn't happen, I think Gambit should be able to, like, control the entire map with Naga and just out-farm them.
Gotta agree. I'm pleasantly surprised the way Gambit drafted. They utilized the last pick, and I don't think they have the answer for this, Nagasara.
All right, well, I love what you said to start off the panel, just the idea of Gambit right now. Are they rising to the occasion after having an extra pressure thrown onto the players from the players themselves? We're going to find out very quickly here if they're going to be able to grab another upset as we jump into the second best of 2 of the day.
Nossa, não sei.
เกมที่ดีเป็นเกมที่ดี
And here we are, Gambit up against Nigma. It seems like Nigma trying to replicate some of their victory against VG Gaming with this Mars, this Ancient Apparition, but the panel, and I know you were saying that you really like Gambit's draft and the way they can play the map.
Yeah, as long as they don't get smashed early, I think that they have really good ways to just keep the map, like keep themselves hidden in particular, especially the Naga Siren. I think Dream, when he's playing with this team, he excels when he's actually not being forced to do too much. When I've seen him actually, because I watched a lot of these Europe and CIS games, when he's actually forced to get involved, he starts making these mistakes because it doesn't feel like he wants to be in these. I think Naga Siren actually fits perfectly the style that he likes to play.
So he won't get flustered, he'll just farm and build himself up.
And I actually, yeah, I mean, Aoi kind of took it right away from me, but I think it's eyes on GH this game to solidify and secure these lanes, because you look and it's a Tusk Mars lane if he does want to play around my control, which is, it's going to be a little bit hard for him to really do much of anything to actually play aggressive. So I want to see him play with the tri-lane and just look at him the rotations. A lot of times the way that GH has been playing, especially with Miracle now playing the mid for them, he rotates mid like 4 minutes. I guarantee you we see a TP. 4 or 5 minutes. GH is going to run mid. He's going to TP mid. He's going to try to make an aggressive play on the mid laner. And especially versus a hero like Storm, he could actually catch him off guard early on when he doesn't have that level 6. You can actually look to set up a gank there. So eyes on GH really for this game, and seeing if he does early go for tri-lanes, and if he does go for like pulling creep waves, because I think that's going to be the style, at least in the bottom lane.
For sure going to be a pivotal hero for them. And then kind of a similar thing here for the next Assassin as well, right? He's going to be scouting out any movements that Nigma want to make, because it is a very team fight focused draft around that Mars AA, looking for those early engagements. And we know Immersion, how well he can do behind enemy lines, kind of catching stragglers or smoke ganks there as an early raid from RLTW. Get rid of some of that damage coming through from Afterlife, but they've shoved this wave really hard already under tier 1.
Yeah, this is the Afterlife special. He loves playing the Viper. He always does it. I mean, it's pretty much the same thing. He always does Vipers, but this is a very comfortable hero for him, so he forces the wave in, and then they just start messing with the pulls. You see the wards already coming out from both sides, so yeah, they've got it covered, and we're already seeing the pull. GH is starting to pull because he doesn't want to be this double melee versus Naga Siren, so he's going to start switching where the positioning of the lane is.
Yeah, start manipulating that creep wave. And then mid lane there, we've got Laurenov up against Miracle. Storm versus Morphling, which the panel was saying, you know, Storm Spirit can potentially slightly out-farm the Miracle Morph, but then you've got the threat of that damage onto towers and the runes that Miracle can utilize to shove back into the wave. But for the most part, you know, these mid lanes with water runes now very much just farm trade heavy.
Yeah, I actually love seeing like the aggressive Storms, and Laurenov, from what I've seen so far, very aggressive player, so he tends to just always get Electric Vortex level 3. So he's going to be able to try to bring it to the Morphling if he sees an opportunity, just pull him and see if he make him miss range creeps and stuff like that. It's really high skill kind of matchup that you can take advantage of, so yeah, eyes on Laurenov to bully Miracle a little bit here.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking down those side lanes, yeah, BZZ. Just trying to track back onto GH, like you were mentioning, just dragging these waves around, making things a little easier for himself. Has Immersion already starting his nonsense, kills off RLTW's Courier with the boots on them.
Yeah, you see, Kuro has actually started boots on the AA, something you don't see too often because he just has to run. Yeah, ILTW is forced to actually rage and run away. This is a very tough lane right now for Team Nigma. Yeah,
we start to see the CS from the Radiant team getting ahead of their counterparts. Most part, I mean, Naga Siren, maybe consider her to be struggling a little bit, but that's you know, more of an experience-focused hero early days. CS will come naturally as the game into 10-15 minutes. She'll be given all that room to farm. So early laning stage, you feel like Naga Siren, not really important for her to have a good time down here, is it? Just dodge any kind of aggression from Nigma.
Yeah, they're manipulating creeps so much, right? GH, that's the whole job is these positions when you're double melee in this matchup, so you're going to miss a couple, because he's going to get the pull behind, he's going to deny like 2-3 extra CS, so that's what Dream is actually missing here. Mars is one of the better actual lane heroes, and boom!
Yeah, that Viper Nix, straight onto RTW, they're tipping him as well!
Oh boy.
Here we go!
Well, they know that if they get ahead in this game, this Lifestealer is going to have like no recovery period at all. He's in a very tough carry matchup versus Naga Siren, and he's versus Viper in the game. Like, your whole game is going to be pretty terrible unless you get right on top of him to start off with like an Infest Bomb. Otherwise, you're just Viper Strike. Every single team fight, you're going to be Viper Strike. So.
Yeah. And you're kind of stuck there.
Yep.
Right, something we didn't get a chance to touch on much, but Lifestealer item builds, we've previously seen the Radiance, the Battle Fury, they've all come and gone. Nowadays, are we expecting this Armlet with a Deso? What Halberd, what are we looking for RTW this game? Because he needs tempo, doesn't he?
Oh god, I mean, you need to go Armlet, 100%, but there is a consideration you just have to go Maelstrom this game. You're playing versus Nagasar, and you need to be able to match core-to-core matchup at some point in the game, but might not work so well with their draft, so we'll see. I think maybe he ends up becoming more of this like utility Lifestealer kind of in a way for the Morphling to become the super carry. But yeah, already started to fall pretty decently far behind inside laning start. And GH, he is starting to check, as we said, 4 minutes. There's GH, has to check the runes, has to help out Miracle a bit there because he's falling behind. So Lornoff will not get a refill on one of these water runes.
Oh, there's lots of tips coming out. Kuro having a bit of a battle with Immersion. Bottom lane though, mind control, he's all right. Mars slips away from the Naga, and that snap fire down bot.
Juke the cookie. I think if the cookie actually lands on him, he might die. Yeah, they cookied an illusion, landed right behind him. Oh. He did the step forward to dodge it. It was a nice play from mind control.
Well done by him. And GH, I mean, he's not going to accomplish much here.
No, he can't.
He's just wandering around, and this is what we were saying, during that draft, we love to see this Tusk with the Lash Rank, the DP, the ranged heroes that utilize the tag team. Of course, they wanted this mind control Mars to set up team fights in that kind of period where the laning phase breaks down.
I'm a bit surprised that he didn't actually try doing like the first pull wave, you hit level 2 on Tusk and then you TP to the safe lane and you just get a kill. Because Viper, very immobile hero, but if they start getting an advantage top, they're going to chain kill. And watch this.
And got the AA. Yeah, stuck out there. Immersion gets a stun into the Nether Toxin. And another one comes through for Afterlife. And is that earn charges for the Viper as well already?
Yep. I think you have to, honestly, I think you have to bring GH up here, a +1 in order to try to set up to get ILTW to get a kill onto this slower hero like a Viper. 320 movement speed, if you get 3 heroes hitting him with tag team, he is gonna die, but so far unable to get the foot. Get their foot off, and Lornoff, he's going back to base, but he's level 6 already on Storm, so they can't actually set up for him anymore, where we might have seen a rotation if they did it earlier.
What do you think the goal is for Storm now at level 6? Is it sort of hide in jungle, play fog and farm, or do you want to see him TP rotate to get kills?
I don't think he needs to rotate with the way that the lanes are going, right? I think this is a game where he can play his Greed, go for his Orchid, and then he's the counter to the Morphling completely inside of the game. So I think Lornoff can just play the mid lane, clip the farm. If he sees a rotation like being forced, if they're diving too far into the other lane,
he'll go for it.
Sure, he can TP, but I think he should just play his own game, maximize as much as possible.
Next, definitely. The Ancient Apparition is food for the Storm Spirit, and here's the move that you've been wanting for quite a while.
They need this.
GH, he's TP top, but Afterlife has already managed to dip away from any aggression Nigma was bringing. And now, Tusk is, TP top there. Mind control's isolated down bottom.
They're going to try to get an aggro play on it. Huge creep wave going under too. They're trying to connect, pull it.
Oh, they get a bit of it and a catapult as well.
They get a little bit.
The 2 range creeps going to follow through.
Look at the split illusions there done by Dream too, putting 2 illusions near the wave. I was wondering if he was going to go for the deny. Won't be able to get it. Mind control. Up to level 5. Not bad for the Mars when he's been kind of left on an island.
Yeah, he's getting something there. And Storm Spirit is starting to play the fog, as we've seen from Storm, kind of farming small camp, medium camp, get himself back into the lane to stop the catapult wave from Morphling from hitting his tower too much. And
he's playing it very nice.
That's a nice Vortex.
Oh, he missed
hey,
he misclicked.
Oh, Miracle!
He was trying to shift down stick and shift back up, but did not do the math.
Oh, you said the aggression from Lornoff, right? That Vortex play back under that tower onto Miracle. Beautifully done by the Storm.
Oh boy, that's a big slip up. They can't have these mistakes this game.
He's top CS, he gets a kill on his counterpart, a solo kill. He's got a ton of gold, like rushing towards that Orchid. He's gonna have it real fast. And now he's able to cut wave mid, farm up a camp, and accelerate even faster.
This is problems for sure for Nigma. Falling behind with this type of lineup is going to be very tough for them to recovering as they're countered in most of the actual matchups. It's going to be very reliant on mind control, getting some dream combos. So at least he's having a decent start. Net worth not so much, but his levels, right? Almost level 7 on the Mars, so he's going to be the big one to now bring them out of this very rough start for them.
Yeah, get them out of the rut.
GH. He's also potentially got some vision here. Lornoff, these stick charges, he's going to be able to zip past it.
Yeah, he's fine. But yeah, you're right. I mean, in the second game up against Vici, it was very much down to mind control with those big arenas, setting up the Ice Blast, the combos they shot. GH, he's in the wrong neck of the woods. Radiant Triangle. He scouts an Ancient camp, but he's going to get caught up by Immersion and Afterlife here. And he's tried to deny himself to the Ancients. Not successful, though. Nyx Assassin will take him out.
And Nyx is usually a hero that takes some time, right? Like your laning start isn't really the most amazing, but as the levels get online, this hero becomes one of the strongest supports in the game, and he's already having a great time. He's level 3, he's got Trankles, Raindrop, Windlace. He's going to be super active around that.
See?
And Mind Control.
Yeah, he's okay. Well, I don't know. He's alive. I don't know if he's okay. He's having some struggles now.
They've already got Medallion on the Snapfire.
Oh,
Plus
wow.
the minus armor from Riptide. This is a very tough lane for the Mars now at this point. Even if though he has this chainmail, the minus armor is very effective as... Look at the catch.
Yeah, they will find that Snapfire. Pretty tanky hero, but still going to get blown through. Mind Control and GH also take down the courier with a Blade of Alacrity on it. So Dream losing out a bit of his tempo. Storm Spirit. Revenge here. Good attempt on the shards by GH, but Storm always able to close the gap back onto him. Well, that's the first kill for Nigma though. Yeah, up on the board. A bit of a morale boost at least for them.
I think it's Courier. Courier is a nice thing too. It's going to slow down that speed because the Naga Siren was getting pretty out of control. Yasha was on the horizon soon. Top.
LTW rages away. Immersion, thinking about that Impale, but holds it, knowing he's not going to get any real follow through.
Other thing about the Nyx in these type of matchups as well is Nyx, as we said, slow to start, but especially versus a hero like Lifestealer. Always Lifestealer has been like the king versus Nyx Assassin. You don't care about anything he does. You rage and just hit him, but yeah, Immersion having a very good start here. 2-0-1, sapping experience. Especially if you're the one making the first move, right? If you're on the back foot against Lifestealer, you're having a rough time. You're making that first move against AA, against Morphling. This Nyx Assassin, once he hits level 6 especially, could find some pretty nifty openings onto some of these squishier targets. This could be a good move here from GH. If he's able to get on Afterlife, he's got the shards. And he's trying for it up top. Afterlife, the Viper drop in, 3 heroes around him, and 9 minutes in, almost 10 minutes in, they get that tri-lane move onto the Viper at long last. They do grab the haste rune for Lauren off top. As Nyx Assassin is TP down towards bottom. Miracle's going to force a ball lightning back into that creep wave. Not really a bother there for the Storm though, as it looks like they want to set up for Mind Control. Look at how fast that was. Immediately hides himself up in the mid and instantly ports bottom for a kill. No, straight down there. And I got a chain stuns onto him, and he's spent his arena. Mind Control still going to spear up the Storm Spirit. Any backup? Nigma, where's the team? Mind Control was left down here against 4 heroes. Didn't snap the chance. I knew Lornoff was aggressive, but my god, instantly makes the rotation with the haste rune. Miracle is capitalizing off of it though, hitting mid-tower. GH also playing in the area in case anybody comes up. So Afterlife, he actually has to just let this one up. So, you know, the move is good to at least punish Mind Control. Early mid. 10 minutes in there. 3 heroes back towards mid, thinking about trying to start a fight, but that leaves Immersion down on the low ground against the Morphling Tusk. Keen to disengage. Wait. Oh, there, Miracle. He's hunting for a little bit more there. Snowball towards the Snapfire will drag Miracle in towards that target instead. So they give up on the Nyx, get the snap. Great moves from GH. Sitting around mid, just literally being patient, waiting for somebody to show up there, and he knows that he is the kill hero with this team. They're going to give Kuroki the lane. Level 6, we see the AA blast. They're going to zap. Lornoff going to get killed by it? No, he'll be okay. He'll be fine. Let's try. Good attempt. He'll delay his move out of the fountain a little bit. I mean, net worth-wise, looking like Morphling up at the top, Naga not too far behind. We've got a pretty tight grouping of heroes there. I think the surprising one for me is Lifesteal has managed to recover pretty tremendously out of that top lane. And he is just rushed. Not even going to go for him. So he's going to try to counteract the knockdown. Kuroki. That's Immersion's level 6, right? Finds the AA. And he's got earn charges on him. Kuro, he's got the invest save. W races across with the phase boots, and the turnaround from GH. Good carapace, but Nyx Assassin, he's done for it there. Nice team play coming out. They tip Kuro for baiting them in. Making the calls. I'm baiting TP top. We'll turn this. It does mean now, you know, the kind of natural movement for the Naga Siren. Ditch bot lane, move up to top for the tier 1. Claim some objectives as Gambit. Are Nigma ready to fight this? Are they going to bring the Mars top to start a battle here? He can. There is a TP coming out from Viper down bottom already with the Storm too. Mind Control might get caught off guard from this one here. Oh, he's not expecting it. No, he's not. Dream gets the tower top, the zip in onto the bottom lane. Is that Mars being caught out? He could, thought he could do a bit more damage to that tower, but with that Nether Toxin and Storm's damage is substantial. It's such quick movements coming out. Straight smoke. It's instant smoke. I love what is, man, Gambit is on fire right now with the way that they're making these early aggressive moves, really recognizing the style that they want to play with this early advantage that they have on the Storm, just making Lornoff get very involved and just letting Dream do his own thing, right? Just let this Naga play his own game.
Yeah, it feels like wherever Immersion is, there's action. Feels like the Nyx Assassin's the one making the go calls. Follow me, let's smoke, let's make these moves. Dream is left alone top though, which means Nigma snap into action onto him, and RTW out with a killing spree.
Good move from Nigma. And now the smoke from Gambit is just going to be wasted. Immersion's going to be able to scout out some information. Oh, Miracle.
Oh.
Shifting down.
Can he get it? And what's Miracle at? 560. He's got a fairy fire. I don't know, man.
Oh, he's being safe. He knows.
Yeah.
They're waiting for the zip too. They see the storm walking over.
He got the start of the zip in. They've caught Miracle out. Chain stun beautifully. Absolute perfection in from Gambit and Storm. He's going to ball lightning himself away. So not even a chance to catch with a snowball or an arena.
Can they get Immersion though for it, perhaps?
I'll try. He's got Carapace and the arena there with a spear, but in come the kisses. The counter initiation from Gambit. They blow up the Tusk, mind control. He's going to back himself up that ramp, get to the safety of the staircase. But you need these arenas to be really landing and getting you kills right, because mind control's the main guy.
How much did he actually end up absorbing there? He absorbed the spear, he absorbed the damage from the punch. Just the Carapace alone absorbed pretty much everything there. If he didn't get it off at that exact moment, he's dead. They would at least get a return kill, but yeah, great Carapace from Immersion. Yeah, this is
a beautiful Nyx game. Beautiful
Nyx game for sure. And ILTW, as we said, he's recovered, but every single one of these connect, that's kind of just going to slow down the pace completely from Nigma. They need to have these successful, because if you look at the side of Gambit, they're not nearly as cooldown reliant.
That's a minute you're letting Naga farm, basically.
Yeah. But they got the Naga. That is the important thing. Yeah. Dream did get picked up before all that started, which was a very big one that Nigma did need. Now another tower.
Yeah, Morphling down to bottom. He's got himself that ultimate orb. Just a recipe away from Manta now.
Exactly. Lornoff already has his Orchid, so this is the timing here for Gambit to keep looking for plays, keep looking for any type of aggression. Nigma knows this. Look how they're sitting behind. GH and Kuroki at the ready to protect Miracle.
Very, very defensive. Patiently wait behind your carry.
Yep.
And here comes Immersion again. Another go call. Follow me. I will lead you to kills and action. And he'll try and scout them out. He'll see GH. Do they have any sentries? There's no reveal.
Far right.
Yeah, it's further off to that side, so they go on the Morphling straight away. Pretty tanky and a great snowball. Ice Blast, turn around, onto the Storm, blow him up. Ooh. The streak taken down. And Gambit not bringing the numbers this time. Immersion might even get cut apart here as the Mars angling towards him. And Immersion's out.
Just instant reaction from GH. If they maybe had stunned from the opener, I think Immersion, he wanted to get that little bit of extra damage. If they just stunned, perhaps they actually can get the follow-up for the kill. But yeah, just too quick there from GH. And now Manta's done. So that was your big move to make with the Orchid.
That was the window.
Can react. Yep. And Kuroki being sneaky, getting deep wards down to see and be able to predict and, prepare yourself for these Orchid movements, having the Tusk in particular sitting behind that Morphling. They'll see these moves coming now.
Yeah, I mean, it very has much been smoke after smoke from Gambit, so if you can spot one of those out, vision and intel important for Nigma here, as they do ready themselves around that bottom rune spot. Afterlife with boost of travel.
Yeah. Viper, super immobile hero. So you always want to be able to join to these fights, as you know, the map's going to start getting kind of split up.
Back onto the Nyx there once, and squish this bug and get the pest out of the game. There's no Immersion, but in comes the Storm. Looking for the ancient apparition. He's got heals, he's got saves for the life stealer. Kuro, he's barely dying, but it's taking Storm everything he's got to find the kill as BZZ. Taken out by RTW. And Nigma on the retreat now. The little vortex onto the Tusk. GH under that damage from the Riptide and Nether Toxin.
Radiant are scared.
2 for 2, all things said and done. I mean, all the support's dead and all the cores running back to farm.
Man, I love active Dota. Mind control able to farm during the meantime. He's got his blink. It was spotted though. I believe that this courier actually did see the this ward saw the courier coming out with it, so they should be aware that he does have blink dagger for the next ones. But some good aggressive moves from Nigma, being able to punch back with this Manta style Morphling. They're getting the lifestealer completely back in the game, as you were mentioning earlier. Had a tough start, but he's 4-1. His infest saves have been pretty top-notch so far.
Yeah, onto Kuroki every time as well, right? Because they're jumping the AA, that's your squishy target, the food for the Storm and the Nyx. So if ILTW is ready and waiting for it, gets straight into the Ancient Apparition. As BZZ, he's got a lot of work cut out for him as the position 5 this game against Kuro, and he's got a lot of dewarding to do. He's got to try and figure out what Nigma are up to.
Sneaky wards too, as we mentioned earlier. The one that you put deep past that tower, that's one that almost never gets dewarded. And the sentry, it's not going to catch it, the one they placed down there. So.
Oh, hello! They find the Nyx Assassin under a sentry ward. Try to blow him up, and that's Morphling finding yet another kill.
Kuro during the DPC, I think one of the things that we did critique a lot of the times was the vision. They'd be actually quite lackluster on vision. This game so far that I've seen, he's been really top-notch with them. Sneaky wards, sneaky sentries too, being placed down to be able to watch these Nyx's movements.
And it's all in the, like you say, the places that they need to be moving towards or where they know that Gambit are going to be coming from. I mean, what's the next goal really here for Nigma? You know, we're thinking about Roshan, or is it going to be aiming towards that Radiant Triangle area? Nagasara, and you're hunting for her?
I think you can still just hunt whoever you see on the map if they're not playing that force game where we were talking about with like what the panel was saying too, where you shouldn't really see heroes on the map so much from Gambit if that's the style that they want to go for. So if Nigma sees anybody, I think they can just go for it. If they have the lanes in a good position, they can look for any type of fights with this big Mars AA combo. And that vision that they still have, they know exactly where all of Gambit is right now. They know that there's 3 or 4 heroes positioned around here. Immersion, he's going to sneak through Vendetta.
Maybe reveal.
Maybe this can get something done.
And sees GH. Immersion. And we're going to start on mind control here. He's thinking about it. Animation cancelling the stun. Miracle under a sentry ward as well. Invis Morphling, in comes the arena. Mind control started off onto BZZ and they just blow up the snapfire. Grandma's gone. Miracle just walks straight back out. Nigma, the speed at which they jump in, find that pick. But the question's going to be, next objective, what do they get from it? Is that another kill?
They're just camping.
They want to get another kill from it. Yeah. And they're going to get some chain kills going. Snowball save beautifully done by the Tusk yet again to get mind control away from the Viper. Infest is going to allow him to stick around in bottom lane for the tier 2. I mean, Dream did get a tower mid and he's pushing out multiple waves, but Nigma, that tight 5-man unit looking really strong.
11-11. They've completely evened it out. And Gambit not really knowing how to slow it down at all. They're going for the Kaya here onto the Storm Spirit next, but very squishy, very vulnerable now on all 3 cores. They can't actually show their face versus anything of Nigma unless they get the initiation cleanly from this Nyx Assassin, who's just, it's not happening.
Let's stay in bottom. Dream, he's songing.
Ooh, let's see if we can catch him.
He's setting up for it. 2 heroes caught up in it. Now, what's the follow-through going to be? The cookie, the stun, the Nyx Assassin gets speared back. He still catches out mind control. There's that Ice Blast, clips on the Dream, but ancient apparition blown up.
Nicely done from Dream.
That's a statement of intent by Gambit, right? 5 heroes, song sets up. We're coming to clear you out of our jungle.
They got the D ward as well too, which was important. That 1 ward was being pretty frustrating for them, and they're going to be able to claim their outpost back, which very important at this point of the game. So early that they would have lost it. Lorinov definitely needs a BKB next item. I think this is going to be most appropriate. And I'm actually thinking maybe for Afterlife he might have wanted one too, but he's actually committed Atos. So he was going for the pipe build after bots, but going for Atos makes sense. You're versus like this Morph and Tusk, and even versus Mars can be pretty effective.
Keep them in that nether toxin.
Yep.
Maybe a nice little setup for the next stun.
I think that's the other thing too. They are lacking a little bit of catch in some situations where it can't just be immersion, because they'll walk in under a sentry and just die, and then they're missing a hero. So I do like that they at least have a secondary form, but definitely needs a BKB soon to be able to counteract versus the big Mars ult.
Oh, Miracle is Naga Siren now.
Yep, G and they have a DD.
Oh, do they?
They do.
Into the road pit we go. Wondering what our next objective would be for Nigma. 21 minutes in, it's the big man.
So fast with the tag team with the Riptide too. It's gone.
It's dead.
They can't do anything about it.
Not a chance. Radiant scanned, but missed out on the road scouting there. Saw the big green circle. So yeah, he just grabbed up by Miracle and then jumping into high ground towards the triangle. There's the punch from GH. Kiss is going to land in onto MC, but ultimately has the rage. Gets straight through the lava. Clears through the Nyx. And Miracle can just stand his ground and battle the illusions.
And he's about to have E-Blade. So now your supports, who have been already proving to be pretty squishy, even more so versus this. And it's going to be tough for you to actually target and burst anybody, because that's not really what their draft does anymore. The Kisses, since it's a 5-position snap, it's only level 1. Their burst damage is quite lackluster now on the side of Gambit. Nigma, they'll kill anybody they go on every single time with this AA, with this combo.
So do you reckon the Naga Sirens, the insurance plan, is it going to come to fruition here? Do they have enough time?
It's definitely looking a bit scary. The Morphling now being able to always turn into her as well too is problematic.
Well, Lorinov reckons he's so strong. See what he gets up to. Storm Spirit is back in Fountain, gonna have to try and regroup there with a snap, and the Nyx Assassin probably wanting to smoke across the map.
He's gonna need a pretty explosive BKB timing. Like once he gets BKB, he needs to get like 2 to 3 kills plus, and they need to get some massive map advantage because they're really starting to fall behind right now.
Dream getting away from the spear. Arena from mind control, holding Naga inside. The Ice Blast, it comes through and clips the Naga, but in comes Nyx Assassin. Lifestealer there, munching away, and our Dream's gone. Nigma holding onto their own triangle while the rest of Gambit nowhere to be seen.
Dreams only died twice this game, but both deaths are so impactful. The positions that he's gotten caught off in from Nigma, he's nowhere near his team. They can't help him at all. So he's just dead to these type of aggressive plays, and it's a lot of time off the map for this Naga.
And GH just keeps on chasing Immersion here. Already spent the carapace, so that means Miracle is opened up for an adaptive strike. Oh, Immersion, he's popped his wand, trying to get into the fog and run away. GH gonna think twice about going any deeper.
I'm so strong, guys. I'm so strong.
Does have that blink dagger though.
And do we have the Mjolnir? Looks like ILTW is going the full counter build versus the Naga Siren, so really does feel that Nigma is in perfectly fine condition here. Only less than 1k gold behind, but that doesn't matter at all with the way that they've itemized, the way that they've played now too. This Morphling is by far the strongest here on the map. And yeah, I think it's a lot of pressure now on Lorinov.
Yeah, what, 3 minutes? Over 3 minutes remaining on the Aegis of Morphling. That's going to be tier 2 mid, maybe even the entirety of the top lane. And this smoke, if they get a couple of kills, the net really closes in around Gambit and shuts them out of the map, because they've been playing wide open map, and now it's going to get real tight here as GH will start to jump onto Viper with the spear. But Viper didn't stand a chance in his own high ground triangle as Immersion trapped in the shards. And they've got the dust, the reveal comes, and even an arena to secure the next assassin. Miracle, like you said, in that Naga form with these illusions, shredding through people so quickly.
Oh boy. They are unable to really make any type of initiating moves themselves at all now. Nigma having the double blink daggers, as we saw GH picking it up quite some moments ago when they catch the Naga down bottom. Now they now they'll get perhaps my control at least. Okay.
Do get the Mars, but that leaves Lorinov needing to use the BKB defensively, and he's spent all his mana. He can't even TP, it's on cooldown. BCC is going to be the target now. They go towards RTW, Kuroki. That didn't have any stun.
He's still getting chased. The Storm.
GH's got a punch. Oh, Miracle finishes him off, and Storm's first BKB seemed worthless. Dead for a minute now as well, and he's still got his Aegis for 2 minutes on Miracle. So what's that? Tier 2 mid, control triangle. Think about the rest of the map for yourself.
Definitely control the triangle. Just sit on this high ground here. Now there's, man, it really just feels like there's nothing that poor Gambit can do anymore. They got these good timings early, but then nothing started to happen. Nigma just catching a couple kills off guard, catching the Naga Siren once or twice. Has been pretty massive for them, and it's just easier for them to initiate. Yeah. Immersion, how many times now have we seen him just like Vendetta running around? He can't actually go on anybody.
He gets dusted, sentry, and he dies. So, something the panel's brought up a couple of times is that ease of execution. In Nigma, like we said, game 2 against VG Gaming, pretty similar draft they had there, so they've already warmed up and practiced with this kind of lineup team fighting. Whereas Gambit is much more nuanced how they want to. You're explaining the kind of wave pushing and splitting out the map.
It hasn't been able to happen. You know, Nigma's just grouping up, always expecting the movements first, so they're catching these heroes when they're trying to do that sneaky wave clear, as Dream's Courier also gets taken out here.
Nothing on it, fortunately.
Yeah. They actually do have the song here to try to catch this.
Any vision? He can't see anyone until he walks straight on top of the AA Morph. They'll try and jump the Kuro AA, but a snowball save right time as RTW gets back onto Dream. Another strike onto the lifesteal, but he's going to invest back in the Morphling. Aegis still in hand for about 45 seconds, so Morph wouldn't mind dying here, honestly. And that's it. Gambit have nothing left in attack. They've spent everything. They get no kills, and Nigma just going to full hard reset and go again.
I can't believe they don't even get Kuroki. Again, just the double bailouts. I think the infest plus the snowballs time and time again. Nigma on point with these saves. And they don't have a good combo. This is the next point I actually was going to get to, is sometimes we see these Naga Sirens able to work so well because you have some like black hole, something like an egg on top or something like that. They have nothing. Their combo is pretty much just Nyx Assassin runs in and tries to stun.
And then kisses on top, it's very delicate way they want to start these fights.
And it really feels that they have 2 5 positions now at this point because of how slow Immersion's game has gotten. They have a level 11 Snapfire, level 11 Nyx Assassin, who can't really contribute too much big into the team fights in comparison.
And you were very clear when you talked about that Storm's BKB timing. Well, hang on a second, Immersion's running forward again. They are desperately trying to start the fight wherever they can, but MC, BKB spear, back onto the Nyx, and in comes the Ice Blast combo. Immersion, Carapace and Cookie, getting a bit of distance away from Nigma. A turnaround from Gambit, maybe here onto Miracle, ball lining into the arena comes, but Miracle BKB up himself, jumps into the Naga, they lose the Mars. Nyx fight back as well, but there's Morphling, he's shredding him. There's not much Gambit can do against it. It's a good stun for Immersion, but the rest of them on the run. Dream has been left isolated yet again. Punched into the air, and GH brings it back down to the ground with a bag.
That is actually so crazy. So he's doing he turns into the illusions and then shifts into morph form so that they're ranged illusions. So he has these ranged morphlings. He has 4 morphlings in the fight.
Well, let's snowball back onto the snap as well. Oh, BZZ's gone. 3 heroes dead without buyback, and Nigma have taken an absolute stranglehold on this game now.
Did they even get it? Did they get at least 1 kill?
They got the Mars.
They got the Mars. But
Yeah.
again, that's these BKBs just to get these 1 kills. This poor Storm Spirit can't actually get onto it. Too many saves. It really is too many different defensive aspects on the side of Nigma that they're using beautifully. They really are. These infest, these snowballs have been on point. And now it's like you go for this aggressive move with the Nyx, and you're like, oh my god, wait, they both have BKB. The Morphling and the Mars have BKB, and it's a built-in rage on Lifestealer, so you can't do much of anything.
So we have to do something. We have to do something, but what can we do? Running limited on options right now.
I mean, Morphling versus Nagasar, now it's just looking very Morph favored. It just, I mean, if I ever see this matchup again, I'm probably just going to immediately side with the Morph too. You just turn into the Nagasar and you have 4 Morphlings, and then you Manta, and then you have like 7 Morphlings.
So many Morphlings.
Well, 6, whatever, but still, it's a lot of Morphlings.
That's a hell of a lot.
Yeah. Now they've just continued to control this triangle during all this time too.
And I like what Mind Control is doing, right? Pushing out bot lane, making sure that Dream doesn't have easy access to like tier 2 mid or bottom lane. No way to get out and cut the waves.
Gambit's not being allowed to play the draft the way they want to at all anymore. Now the map is completely closed on them, where they want to be the ones actually in this position where they're the ones forcing the waves out without showing anything. It's actually just Nigma doing that themselves now.
It's like the worst place for Naga to be is in her own base, pushing out waves with illusions.
Look at these Morphling illusions. Look at them go. Top wave. All right, 3 Morphlings, gonna clear that one out in no time.
Look at the damage they do.
Yeah, it's actually pretty insane.
Is that like, I don't know, I'm thinking like, is it worth buying Diffusal Blade on Morphling when you're up against the Naga side and not going to go like this? Get even more damage out.
He doesn't need it.
No point in deviating from what works.
Yeah. Dream is getting out to the other side of the map, getting close to getting another item perhaps eventually, but it really feels like this, like the Viper in particular, Afterlife, his game has been just disappeared. He's just been, where has he been, right? Like, where's the Viper been?
I don't know.
After laning phase, he had this excellent game, but he's just a boss. He's a pipe, he's an Atos, but he's 3-2-3. He's part of 6 out of the 15 kills in the map.
Yeah, it feels like it comes back to that kind of 13 to 16, 17 minute window where you know, the Nyx and the Storm are grouping up as a pair, and everyone else, again, you're playing wide open map, giving themselves up as targets for Nigma. Maybe if they'd gone as 4 or tried to group up a little bit more and left just the Naga alone, they could have got a bit more out of the map as Dream. Oh, does have a bit of backup here around her. Nyx Assassin can help out, but the Arena Spear Ice Blast coming in onto Dream. The Summon and Solar are not going to help you.
He's dead.
Dead to Miracle with a double kill on the Morphling.
GH, as we said, one to watch this game. 19 of their kills are because of him so far. Yeah, he is 19 out of 23 kills. His Blink Dagger came super early too, and he literally has been reading the map perfectly so far this game. This Tusk on point, level 17, same level as his offlane Mars. Yeah,
he's all over the place in a good way.
Yeah.
Everywhere. Up in the faces of Gambit, and again we make this move as Nigma, right? Straight down the mid lane, look for the tier 3.
And Miracle, he's got illusions, he's got Mantas. Once the Naga comes up, he's gonna have more illusions. This game is possible realms now.
Yeah, tier 3 barracks that just cease to exist. Disappearing under that structural damage from Nigma up towards the top tier 3 as well. Gambit, well, they need to pull something out of their hat here. Something drastic has to happen to stop the onslaught, stop the bleeding. Kisses will delay this inevitable push to kill the illusions. You're right, Fog. They got him.
They got the illusions, but the Rax, oh, it actually survives. 80 HP, okay.
Dire's bottom tower.
That feels bad. Kisses to kill some illusions.
And Roshan's alive, so it's kind of perfect timing for Nigma here. And I mean, is this a move that Gambit want to make towards Can they make it fast enough?
I mean, they're just gonna have to try.
Roshan's already dead.
Oh no.
They're moving across. There's Dire Lord
already in position.
Yeah, you're right. He's going to get straight on top of them. Dodges a lot of Athos too. And in comes Mind Control with the Arena Rebuke. Spear trying to aim onto the Viper. GH is silenced and netted though, so the Tusk will fall. But Aegis already gathered up by Miracle, and a Song used defensively here while Rage and BKB straight towards the Nagasar. Force out the Manta, any kind of illusions to play around with. But Dream's going to get chased down here. E-Blade, Spear misses. Gets off a nice cookie as well. BZZ buys the space as Dream, he does escape, but the cost is dear. And Kuroki's found BZZ.
He's trying to drag. He's trying to get to the wave. He wants to kill before they can actually push. That wave. Oh, he He's backwards.
Oh, he's just going to kill him. No, saved by the spear. In comes the cavalry from Nigma.
He tried. It was a good effort.
Good idea, good plan.
Dire's top
Not
tower
working out
is
for
under
him though.
attack.
Again, every time it's just they're getting jumped on. GH does eventually die this time, but
Pull the
he
ball.
did his job. He saw it. He gave all the information for his team to get the perfect jumps onto the heroes, and now into the base to finish off that Rex. That was 80 HP. Now there's an AC as well on ILTW, and of course we didn't mention because it's been getting kind of quick, but he gets one of the better items versus Naga too. Cult of Flames on Life Dealer, so that's great. They can just end this game. Very unlikely though.
They're on tier 4s, yeah.
Are
There's
fortified.
a glyph out from Gambit. Try and get the Snapfire alive, and she'll have kisses when she respawns. It's just a struggle to see what exactly Gambit can do to start a fight, extend a fight to the point at which they can get more than just one kill.
Radiant's middle tower
Because Nigma
being denied.
have so much.
Radiant's
I mean, they're
middle
ending it. So they gotta do something.
They're going to try. I mean, Miracle's on your throne.
He killed me.
Killing the throne. There's no glyph. There's nothing to say to that. That game's over.
It's over.
Nigma take game one against Gambit. I mean, it's a good draft from Gambit, good attempts, but Nigma with that momentum from that victory against Vici Gaming really showing this Mars AA in particular.
Yeah, the Mars AA and just the way that the Morph and the Tusk actually controlled the game was pretty beautiful. The read of the map is the biggest thing. I think the biggest moment for me really was that bottom fight where Orchid comes out for Storm. Manta's not finished on Morphling that.